because to do something,
Yeah,
but then like plane got canceled because like Philadelphia Health Department goes in and says like you probably should avoid like doing anything outdoors
I
and all that stuff.
know, bro. The air right now is crazy.
Yeah, like it's really bad right now. You can smell it too. Like we have all our
No,
windows
dude,
open.
I went
It's like
outside and it's just
yeah,
like the atmosphere literally looks yellow.
yeah.
You know,
You see New York, you see like Yankee Stadium.
bro, the sky's orange. I seen the
Oh my
pictures.
God, it
That
looks like
shit is
Fallout New
nuts.
Vegas.
No, for real, for real. I don't know why it's like that. I mean, it's global warming. That's why. And I think there was some wildfires in Canada.
It was the Canada wildfires, and because that the winds kind of like pushing the smog and the smoke like to the northeast.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's not even just the northeast. It's the entire East Coast.
Damn, that's tough. Yeah. But anyways, I started recording by the way.
All right, all right.
Welcome back to the Salty Ones podcast. We are back.
Yep.
Before we begin, I do want
On
to
schedule
say,
this time.
yeah, before we begin, I do want to say happy birthday to my boy Cheese. Happy birthday to
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Hope you're
you.
having a good day. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can do anything today because of the air, the atmosphere. But hope you're 20 now, right?
Yep, 20.
Nice, nice. New decade. But
Yep.
anyways, we did watch the new Spider-Man movie over the weekend, and let's talk about that. Today's episode, we're just gonna talk
Yep.
about that, and then we're gonna do a tier list of all the Spider-Man movies. So let me ask you, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Lived up to the expectations
Mm-hmm.
almost perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Going into it, especially like rewatching Into the Spider Verse, I was like it definitely met the expectations I wanted.
Oh, for
So, like
sure.
you know different types like newer like spider people that we haven't seen in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
In like really cool fight scenes, just like the animation and design too. Like
Yeah.
it lives with everything,
Yeah.
and voice acting too.
Yeah. Also, I did forget to mention before we go into like this movie review, I do want to say we're gonna talk about the spoilers in this movie. So if you haven't watched the movie, highly recommend you click off this video because
Now, or you can, if you choose to, if you do want to hear our tier list part, you can
yeah.
just skip it.
Yeah, I'll put a timestamp. You can just
Yep.
skip to that. Yeah, for me, I think this movie definitely lived up to the expectation and the hype that people were
Oh yeah,
talking about. Like, cause we watched this movie on Sunday, so
yeah.
it was a couple days out after the movie released, right? And the reception I was hearing online was, "Yo, this movie was fucking amazing."
Yeah.
And as I was sitting in that theater, as we were sitting in that theater, bro, the first of all, I gotta say, the art and animation was out of this world, straight
It,
up.
the animation budget compared to to the Into the Spider Verse, I think it was doubled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead of 50 million, it was 100 million.
God damn.
Uh,
Apparently
or 90 million.
yeah, so do you remember when the scene where Miles is running away from all the Spider-Mans?
Yeah, that was such a
That
cool
shit was
scene.
crazy. Apparently that scene took like 4 years to make.
Yeah,
That
I
shit
mean,
was insane. 4 years is nuts, but it's understandable because like there's so many Spider-Mans in
well,
that scene.
another thing too, like kind of looking back at it, it's like if you look at all of the Spider-Man, and like all of the Spider people,
Yeah.
they're animated differently. Like the
They
most
are.
like the one that stands out the most is obviously Hobie or Spider-Punk.
Mm-hmm.
He's him, by the way.
Honestly, he's the coolest character there.
We'll get into it like later, but like you can see that they're all animated differently, like the way that like their walking style, just like their kind of background and just like their appearance and color
Facts.
wise.
Facts. Mm-hmm.
So it's very different.
Yeah, like I mean that's what Into the Spider Verse did a good job of. I feel like Across the Spider
Yeah,
Verse they
it did.
added on top of that by adding even more Spider Man. We even saw the Insomniac PS4 Spider Man there, so that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
the goat.
Facts, my favorite Spider Man. That's my Spider Man right
Yeah.
there.
I'm
Um,
still you only got one line though.
facts, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Talking to
that's.
me?
Do you know Metro Boomin was in the movie? Like I know he
Oh,
produced.
yeah, he was. He was the he was the one. He was like there's no way to run.
Yeah, yeah, him.
Oh
That's
wait,
that
never
was
mind.
funny.
There was a way to
Yeah,
run. Like,
yeah. So I think in terms of the setup for this movie, especially since this is part one, and then the next movie is gonna be the final movie of this trilogy, essentially Beyond the Spider Verse. I feel like
right,
the setup was basically perfect, and what I really
right.
like about this movie was basically the setup behind everything,
Yeah,
right? So like when the movie first started, you got instead of Miles' side, it was Gwen, right?
yeah.
You learned about her situation, which I think that was cool to see because I feel
Because
like in the first movie it was more Miles related, but now it's like you get to see her perspective more.
the first movie was kind of meant to show his um what's the word I'm looking like the introduction into him becoming Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And like the one thing I will say that this movie did well with was that showing her side of things.
exactly, exactly. And I know a lot of people. I've been seeing a lot of murmurs about. I've seen a lot of discussion about people saying that the beginning of the movie is very slow paced. However, in my opinion, I think
Like
well,
this.
I think what they did with it was honestly perfect because it was like it wasn't even slow paced. It was just the setup to her character, which
Right.
ultimately led back to Miles because.
It leads back to him because that's how because she ends up in that universe, they become friends.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's like I think 20 minutes in, she gets called by her dad, who's like the chief police
Right.
officer for her being
Better.
Spider-Man, and like her
Right.
dad wants to catch Spider-Man or Spider-Woman so badly, right?
Right.
And then once he finds out about this, I gotta say, bro, the emotional scenes that they do in this movie is crazy because his face when he finds out that her daughter is Spider Woman,
Yeah.
like the
Was
art style completely changes. Like the
exact it's
lines on
so
the character models become completely thick,
right.
so it's like you can kind of feel the emotion behind it,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
And I really do like that. And
Like and then kind of going into, like once you actually go to the like the Spider Society and then how they're handling the threat,
hmm
you kind of see two sides of the same coin. It's like because Miles prefers to kind of do things in an rather than in an unorthodox kind of way rather than compared to Miguel who wants to keep things by the book.
exactly, and
He doesn't think that Miles should be a part of it because of the fact that he shouldn't even be Spider-Man.
exactly. And I think that's what makes Miles so unique compared
Yeah,
to every other Spider-Man in existence
right,
because he's not following the book as you mentioned.
right. He's
So
not.
it's like he's a completely different Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Not only that, he changed his own canon timeline.
right. Do you want to know a fun fact? So you know the scene where the Spot's basically explaining his origin, he's explaining what happens, he teleports the spider.
hmm
The spider, like right before he was teleported, was going to bite someone. If you look back at that scene, who it's going to bite, you'll see it's Earth 42 Miles.
Oh shit! Oh my
So
god!
it was going to happen. And the thing is though, once it gets teleported, it teleports to the closest thing, 2 miles.
So it was still so Miles was gonna get bit anyways.
So the Earth 42 miles was gonna get bit. The one that we know in the movies is Earth 1610.
Oh, the other Miles that we saw at the end of
Yeah,
the movie,
the
right?
The Earth 42 spider that was going to bite the Earth 42 miles, but it got teleported to Earth 1610. And so what happened was it bit the thing that was closest 2 miles, like in
Oh,
their universe.
okay.
And that's how he ended up becoming Spider-Man.
Oh wow. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I do want to
Uh,
say though, I think the way they handled Spot was perfect
yeah,
because I feel
like
like with Spot's character, it was
yeah,
like in the beginning he was comedic relief and nobody
right,
took him seriously because he
right,
was this
exactly.
like extremely weak character. But
Yeah,
as the movie progressed, you quickly saw Spot become stronger and stronger.
right.
There was even points where like I forget her name, but some like one of the higher ups in the Spider Society was showing Miles and Gwen what was Spot doing.
Jessica Drew,
Hmm.
I think Jessica Drew, the like the Spider Woman,
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah, her. And it was
yeah,
like Spot was getting progressively stronger and stronger to the point
right,
where he was able to manipulate other universes,
right,
right? So it was like now Spot has become instead of this comedic relief villain, he's become an actual threat,
right.
right? And he took that personally.
Like because like I saw a lot of like reviews. People were saying that like, oh, I wasn't a big fan of Spot's character until towards the end. But
That's the
like for
point.
those people, that the whole point is that at the beginning he's kind of meant to be this very cringy comedic like guy. He's just, like who tries to get other people to take him seriously. He's like you Spider-Man, you're my rival. But then he's like laughing at him. He's like you're not good enough to be my rival. And then
Exactly.
eventually he gets to the point where he's like I'm actually really strong. So I feel like it works in this movie, especially considering next movie where that's gonna set up the big threat.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think it works perfectly.
Yeah, so overall I feel like that like the whole setup for Spot and the rest of the Spidey Society, it makes sense, right?
Right.
But
It makes sense.
I do want to talk about the end of the movie. So when Miles realizes that
Yeah.
he's in the wrong universe, we see the other version of Miles who's essentially
Yeah.
become the Prowler.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but as before, like the other Miles revealed himself, in the
Yeah.
background you did hear J. Jonah Jameson on the TV talking
Yes,
about
he did.
he was talking
Yeah.
about the Sinister Six.
Sinister Six. Yep, the
So
Sinister Six cartel.
so so once we go into Beyond the Spider-Verse, Miles is gonna have to fight the entire Sinister
Mu-
Six plus the Prowler. Or is the Prowler in the Sinister Six?
Okay, so there's a theory going out here that so that the Prowler, Miles, like the Miles Prowler and Aaron Davis in Earth 42, they're not actually bad. Think of them basically just as hardened survivors, like basically trying to make it in this type of world that's riddled with crime.
Mm.
And
Okay.
people are saying that they might like they're gonna try and see to get this Miles to help us, the Miles that we know and we've been following.
Honestly, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Cons- yeah, go ahead.
Another great like detail about this is that when we think Miles is in the right universe, it's like the way that everything is shot and the way that everything's animated, it looks like that Gwen's right outside.
Exactly. Oh my god, I was
But
caught
the
off guard by that shit.
but the one detail that people need to realize is that in Miles's original reality, if you look at his room, it looks more organized and clean compared to this one. There's stuff on like milk crates. There's a speed bag. It's like that was never in his original like room, like
Hmm.
in his parents' home. So there's a lot of details like you can miss, like watching it firsthand. But then you'd probably go back and you say, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, exactly. I honestly I might have to rewatch this movie.
I'd love to rewatch it.
Like, bro, there's so many like little Easter eggs they added in, and I feel like overall this movie they nailed it.
Yeah, you
I
did.
don't really have any other complaints. Out of 10, I guess I would rank this. I mean, out of 10, I would basically give it a 10, but honestly, I would give it like a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason why I'm not giving it a 10 is because we didn't see the complete story yet.
It's not complete yet,
It's
exactly.
yeah, it's split into two parts,
Yeah, if
so
Beyond the Spider Verse is as good as we think, like then it's probably gonna be a 10. Probably gonna be the best like movie, like Spider-Man movie of all time.
easily,
Yeah,
easily, because the setup is there. They just have to
right.
execute. You know?
I'm gonna say 9 point. So I originally said 9.3, as if you remember. I think it's 9.5. I think it's tied with Into the Spider Verse.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Also, MCU Prowler? Question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, do you think that once this trilogy's over, do you think we could, as long as, like, let's say Beyond the Spider Verse is as good as these two other Spider Verse movies,
Okay.
would you say this trilogy would be on the level as like a Dark Knight or an Avengers? I know
Oh
Avengers
hell,
isn't.
hell
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Honestly, I could put it up there. I know it
Yeah.
sounds crazy considering that we haven't seen Beyond the Spider Verse, but
Haven't seen it
in
yet, but
terms of a superhero trilogy,
right.
we haven't seen a group of movies, a trilogy of movies that
Right.
were on hasn't been on the level
Hmm.
as the Dark Knight trilogy, which in my opinion is the greatest superhero trilogy ever.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And, like if okay, considering how good these movies so far have been, who's to say that this one isn't even gonna be even better?
Yeah. hmm I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see until we get
Also,
to.
fun fact Miguel is half spider.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. He has to
Yeah,
inject himself with like steroids, right?
that's why he has fangs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that makes sense.
the whole point is to keep it like under control and like so he doesn't go like berserk.
Oh, okay. See, like that makes sense considering that in the movie he was very like edgy. Like he was
Right.
like edging himself. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah.
there was points where he'd be I don't know how to describe it. Like he's very like emotionally distraught. Of course, because
Yeah.
he's changed his reality and the canon timeline of his own story, but
Right.
also because as you explained, he has to continue to eject himself with was it
Yeah.
spider venom or something like that?
So no one knows what it is exactly. There's a lot of things speculating it. People are saying it's like armor repair because like remember his suit's like full like tech, you know.
Yeah,
But people are saying it's to stabilize him from going like berserk as because he is half spider
to keep him
and
sane as well,
to
right?
keep him sane as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other theory is that just like it's just gonna be it's an unknown substance. We'll find out in the third movie.
Okay.
But another yeah okay. Also, I want to talk about this. Hobie Brown was him.
Nah, he's him, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Low
Yo,
key, he might have.
Daniel Kaluuya was such a did so well in that role.
Oh, he's playing Hobie?
Playing him,
Oh, I
yes.
didn't know that. Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's
He
crazy.
was he was so good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fire. That's
Like he was literally the embodiment of I don't give a fuck.
Nah, facts. Do you know what's crazy? When Miles like was running away from the Spider Society, Hobie just
Yeah.
teleported back to his
Yeah,
dimension.
he's like just for the record, I quit.
Nah, that's fire, bro.
No, but another detail that you'll miss when they're walking through the Spider Society, he's pulling parts of just random like things,
Oh, just
and
show you that he's leaving, right?
not just that, he uses all that stuff to make the watch for Gwen,
Oh
so that
wow,
she
that's
can
tough.
jump in between multiverses. That's how she does it,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's why like he did that because because one thing is that because if you like most people probably like like listening to this, chances are they might not have read Spider Punk's like origin story.
I don't think
Like
most people have.
most people haven't. I never did, but and then I kind of like researched his base. Like I kind of looked it up and everything like that. His Earth is basically it's like under like a fascist like government basically.
Damn.
It's like like a totalitarian like regime basically, and and he basically is fighting against them. He rebels, and this is why he hates governments. It's why he doesn't agree with the Spider Society. And it's why he leaves because he's like I'm not a big fan
It's
of these.
similar. It's probably similar
It's
to
very
it.
similar because it's because it basically is because you have the leader Miguel and just like all the rest of them.
And he does, and Miguel kind of has like a dictator like mindset
He does
because he essentially controls you. Like you have to,
right.
like if you don't agree with, because something that's similar among all the Spider-Man is that Spider-Man or Spider-Woman is that they always lose someone close to them,
They lose
primarily
someone.
Uncle Ben. And in order
Uncle
for
Ben,
their storyline to continue, they have to have their loved ones lost. Like
and
they
they have
have
to
to
have
die, and
right.
like a lot of these Spider-Man, they do see this happen and they want to stop it, but Miguel keeps them in the like Spider Society, and that essentially
Exactly.
breaks them, right?
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like this is a common thing among all Spider-Man, right? So when
Hmm.
Miles sees this, he immediately breaks out, and
Right.
he does what he does in this movie. So
Right.
that honestly, I like that. That's a little cool thing that they added with
It's really
Hobie.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he represents basically free thinking.
That's true.
Because remember when Miles is trapped, he's like he holds out his palms.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he calls him a kid to provoke him so that he can create a burst of energy to break free from it.
Yeah, true. I mean, as well as like this movie, outside of Spot, it didn't really have like a villain,
It
right?
didn't.
It's more or less like which side are you on, right?
Right.
It's like there's like a moral code behind this one. Do you side
It's
with
more.
Miles or do you
It's
side with the Spider
really.
Society?
It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Because Miguel puts it clear. You have the option to save one life or many more. That's the whole point. But
Exactly.
and Miles wants to save one life, but millions of others could die in the process. But Miguel thinks the opposite. He thinks that like it's justifiable for one person to die if you can save millions of others.
Yeah, and all the other Spider-Men in the society agree with
Right.
that
They all
because
think that.
when they went to I think India or whatever, and like
Yeah.
I think Miles saved one of the Spider-Man's like
Yeah.
one of
He's
like
like
their friends or whatever, like that
girlfriend's
changed
like
the timeline.
dad. Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and Gwen, I think Gwen was trying to hold Miles back from doing that.
That's why. Yeah. Because she knew that if he did that, his universe would probably the same thing with Miguel's universe would happen.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like this entire movie. It did feel a little because it did feel like a roller coaster.
No, it
Like
did, it did.
like there was so many hype like fight scenes, and all of a sudden it would just like go like really heavy.
Dude, the animation was nuts during the
And
fight
it was
scenes.
so good. Oh
Oh
my
my,
god.
dude, when Miles said, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing," that shit was hard,
Dude,
bro.
that was the coldest line ever.
That's hard, bro. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I think I like Miles over all of the other Spider-Man because I think he's just
Honestly,
so unique. Like,
yeah. It
like,
definitely is. I can
like
see that.
compared to like Toby and Andrew and the other one,
Just wait.
Tom.
Just wait. Just wait till we get a live action Miles, MCU Miles Morales. It's been like we know he exists.
No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for sure. I think after the trilogy, once Beyond the Spider-Verse gets adapted, we're definitely
Yeah.
gonna get news on MCU Miles because,
Well,
um,
Spider-Man 4 for the MCU has been confirmed by Tom Holland himself.
yeah. So, and
So,
honestly, they probably could. That would be a good gateway to introduce
yeah,
Miles, because at least in the Spider-Man games, you see Peter and Miles they
right.
work together, right? And I
Hmm.
think Peter mentors Miles for him to
Yeah,
become Spider-Man. So they could do
right,
something similar to that as well, since
hmm
Peter's on his own in the
right.
MCU.
Like,
But in my opinion, I kind of enjoy Miles way more than Toby, Tom, and Andrew. Like their versions of Spider-Man.
right,
I
it's because
yeah, go ahead.
like one thing that like we see in like the first movie that kind of showcases his that showcases Miles' character is like because Peter's the kid that he didn't really grow up with much, like his parents died, he's living with his aunt and uncle,
Mm,
but like he tries in school. That's kind of the whole thing. He's like pretty smart, and he also tries to be like a good person overall. Miles, on the other hand, he's kind of the same way, except he actually has his parents, but he's also a bit of like a delinquent, if you know what I mean by that.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like he's
So
much
he's
more
like
relatable as well.
groupie, all that stuff. Right,
Because compared to the other Spider-Man, like they have a very similar story. They see Uncle
right,
Ben die, they start to
hmm
rebel a little bit, and then they start becoming Spider-Man.
right, exactly.
But with Miles, it's like he hasn't gone. Well, he has technically. He lost Spider-Man in his own verse with
Yeah,
Peter Parker in the
hmm
first Spider-Verse movie.
yeah,
But outside of that, it's like he has like this relatability factor,
right.
especially among like minorities as well, because he's a
hmm
black Spider-Man, right?
He's black and Latino.
Yeah, so like that like cultural like aspect that he does bring to the table, that brings more people together because it's like you have a black Spider-Man, you know? So
Yeah,
there's not many black superheroes in like
right,
Marvel and shit, so to see a black Spider-Man is pretty inspirational. Like it's
right.
cool to see, you know?
Like honestly, so another thing too is that because when the first movie came out, everyone thought it was gonna be adapting the comic where Peter canonically is supposed to die. That's what everyone thought. No one thought that they were gonna bring this thing where it's like because Miles was bit by this spider that wasn't even belonged in like his Earth,
Mm,
his Spider-Man dies. Like no one thought about that.
yeah. That's true.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like to think about.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I think we got our talking points about this movie. Overall, really good fucking movie. If you haven't
Very
watched it, go ahead and
go,
watch it.
treat yourself.
Please do. This shit's fire. One of the best
Yeah.
movies, honestly, that came out this year. Might be the best movie that came out this year. Better than the Mario movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways, now that we got our review out of the way, let's rank all of these Spider-Man movies. So I'm gonna share my
Okay.
screen so
All
you
right.
can see everything. Hold on, give me 1 second. Share screen. Can you see my
This
screen?
is all. This is only. Wait. Is this all of the movies?
Yeah, all the movies.
Where's a is Into the Spider-Verse on there?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is all of them. I guess we'll just go from left to right. Um. Okay, so this is Spider-Man Far From Home.
That's Far From Home. Yeah.
Honestly, bro, this movie was kind of
It was solid. I'd say B tier.
yeah. I would put it C, but B tier.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal's like performance as Mysterio.
Yeah, that was honestly my favorite part of the movie. I like
Yeah,
his
and
abilities and shit.
Nick Fury is Nick Fury. So
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
though it wasn't actually Nick Fury in this movie,
Mhm. Facts.
but like overall, I mean, it was pretty good.
Mhm.
I definitely don't think it was better than like in so far in Tom's trilogy or in the MCU Spider-Man trilogy.
No, it isn't.
But like, I mean, it was solid though,
Yeah.
because
Uh.
like it was meant to kind of be as a like what's the word I'm trying to look for? Closure on for like Peter's like closure on Tony's death.
Yeah,
Because
because this is the movie
trying to move
after
on.
the after
It's the
Stark
movie
dies.
after the events of Endgame,
Yeah.
and he's trying to move on from it, but he can't because he's haunted by it.
Yeah, and I think he has like an identity crisis in it in
Yeah,
that
he
movie.
does.
So
Right.
that was pretty cool, but I
hmm
think like I don't know. The plot overall was kind of mad to me.
it was okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it was solid.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
I think this is the Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is
That's
honestly
amazing.
D tier.
C tier. All right,
See?
look.
You put this C? I think this movie sucks.
Actually, no, I can agree with you. I can kind of
This
get
movie
with you. D
fucking
tier.
sucks, bro.
I wasn't a big fan. Okay, Jamie Foxx was pretty good. I kind of didn't like the design. I can
I
get why they
hated
did.
Electro, bro. I don't know. I didn't like Electro. The only thing I liked about this movie is the web swinging. Web
The what?
swinging in this
Oh
movie
yeah.
was crazy, and the
Oh
final
yeah.
battle between Spider-Man and Electro was cool.
It
but
was.
I just feel like the way they handled Harry and the whole Green
Yeah,
Goblin thing,
I was not a big fan of that.
that shit was ass.
Right. That was
that
I can agree with you on that. I hated that.
that was fucking garbage. I couldn't believe that they made that. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, probably the worst Spider-Man movie to come out. I don't know
Yeah,
what they did.
I can see that.
Yeah, not only that, I know Andrew Garfield's a pretty underrated actor, but I don't really like his role as Spider-Man. I feel like his Peter Parker role kind of sucks. His role as Spider-Man's pretty solid, but
Fine. I personally think that that Garfield did a better portrayal of Peter himself
really,
than like a Spider-Man. Because like just like because like in the first movie, you see him like get into an argument with Uncle Ben. It's that's like that's like pure like raw acting. That's not even Spider-Man.
yeah. I mean, that was in the first movie though, but yeah, I know what you're
It
saying.
was in the first movie. You know what I'm saying though.
In my opinion, though, like, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Garfield's portrayal of Peter was probably was really good. His Spider-Man was okay, but like his web slinging was really nice though.
Um, I mean, I disagree considering that I feel like the way he did Peter wasn't your typical Peter because,
Yeah,
like, I feel like for Garfield, he doesn't really match the loser that Peter Parker was before he became Spider-Man, and even as he was Spider-Man, like growing up, he was like this skateboard dude. Like, I don't know,
yeah.
it was some weird shit that they added in that
Well,
really
well,
didn't give off the Peter
meant,
Parker vibe.
it was meant to portray him during like you know the upper level like high school years,
Yeah,
which is what people like around that time I guess a lot of people like thought about.
yeah.
Because remember in the Tobey Maguire ones, he graduates high school in the first one.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So D tier. I think that movie sucks though. Next, Into the Spider Verse is easy as.
S
Yeah,
tier,
easy
all the
as.
way to S. Is there like an S plus that we can do?
We can add a tier. Um, add
No,
room.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
You
No,
good?
it's fine.
Okay.
I don't have to. No. Um,
Okay.
S tier.
Yeah. I don't.
Like, dude, what else can we say?
We
Like, what
can.
can we say bad about it?
There's no discussion for it. We don't even need to explain why it's S. It's just that good.
Dude, do you remember? Do you remember the "What's Up Danger" scene where he jumps off the building? Oh my
That shit was
god!
crazy, bro.
Yeah,
That was nuts.
it was
Um.
so good.
mm. Next, I think this is Spider-Man
That
2.
that is yeah, that's Spider-Man 2.
I gotta put this one in S. What about you?
That's S tier. That's S tier as well.
Yeah.
Like
Above
Alfred Molina's
Spider-Verse or
not
below?
above Spider-Verse. I'd say below. Alfred Molina's portrayal of Doc Ock was perfect.
Facts, perfect. He
Yeah,
he did such a good job. Like, I feared for Doc Ock because he was
yeah.
so smart. Not only that, like the way he maneuvered even once he became like this villain.
Mhm.
Like that bank scene where like Spider-Man and Doc Ock are fighting each other and then he grabs Aunt May, climbs up to the top of the building and they're fighting each other. That shit was peak, bro. And
Yeah.
also the train scene. You remember when Peter had to
Yeah,
stop the train scene?
yeah, he
The
off the
train?
train. Yeah.
That was hard. And like his mask
It was
came off and like
yeah.
everybody on the train saw who he
Everybody
was.
became a hero. It became a meme, but like it was still really good.
Yeah, and then like I remember like the people inside the train they saw
Right.
Peter's identity, and one
Right.
of the kids had the mask and they just gave it to him.
Mm,
You know, so they didn't give away his identity. That shit
right.
was hard, bro. Like there's a lot of good scenes in that movie.
Right.
Honestly, this is a classic. I know a lot of people are gonna say nostalgia, but this shit was hard. Very good movie.
It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And also too like the ending scene where like Doc Ock takes control of like the arms,
Mm.
like the
He
way
fights back.
he fights back and just like the emotion he puts into it is amazing.
Facts. Okay. So that's S tier. Spider-Man 3?
C tier, C tier.
See? Yeah, I agree.
Bully Maguire, come on, bro.
No, I like that part of the movie. My problem with this movie was I think there was just too many villains.
They introduced way too many because they were trying to. I think it was the fact they were trying to like make it a Sinister Six type deal,
But they flopped.
but it flopped hard because it
What
just
was it?
didn't.
Venom, Doc
Venom,
Ock.
Sandman,
Not.
Doc Ock wasn't
That's
in it.
previous movie. My bad.
That's the previous movie. It was Sandman and Doc Ock, basic for the most part.
You mean Sandman and Venom?
Sandman and Venom, yeah.
Sandman, Venom, Green Goblin, and
Green
was there?
Goblin, yeah, it was right. Green Goblin, it was Harry.
Yeah, Harry Green Goblin. Was there
Yeah,
another villain as well?
I think that was it.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
eventually too, it's like Green Goblin. He stopped being the villain. Like
hmm
when he found out that like his father killed himself, basically trying to kill Peter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I really liked Black Spider-Man.
It was pretty cool.
That shit
The
was
suit was
hard,
cool as
bro.
well. The
Like
suit was really
I loved Evil Peter. Like the reveal of Peter becoming like the Black Spider-Man and like him swinging around, feeling the power. That shit
right.
was hard, bro. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
like yeah, although the like the walking scene was kind of cringe, but like
Yeah, it was, but
it was very cringe.
yeah. Um, I just feel like there was too many villains to like focus on. Venom kind of flopped in my opinion. We didn't get enough of that.
Enough of it, yeah.
Sandman was meh. He was kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie. He was probably the worst part of the movie. He
It,
sucks.
it, it was it was it was hella sad though. Like in the end when he reveals to like Peter that he accidentally killed his father.
Yeah.
That was hella sad, I will
Mm-hmm.
say.
That's true. Okay. This one, Spider-Man: The No Way Home. Where do you put
No Way Home.
this?
I'd say A tier,
Yeah,
like
same.
high A.
I feel like this movie was it had so much hype because they brought back the other Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
about it.
that's definitely why uh it did well. Not even just like the multiverse thing, because it was the fact that you introduced all like the iconic villains back, like all the roles that these actors are known for, especially within the Spider like Man like movie like film kind of
Exactly. Yeah,
like a
that's true.
series. You brought all like the iconic ones and the ones that were known like best for doing these roles.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Um,
Like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin was is perfect.
oh my God, that bro, that final scene where I think was it Tom's Peter was
Yeah,
like
he was about to kill
fighting.
him.
Yeah, he was about to kill him, and then
He was
Toby
about
had to
to
pull him
kill.
back.
Yeah,
That shit was hard, bro. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie,
Dude, I was like, bro, bro, beat rock his shit.
bro. The punches that he was
Wait,
throwing was crazy, cause
wait, let
especially
him get up.
since,
Wait, let him get up. Let him get up. Fight
ex-
back.
yeah, especially since I think he was the one who killed Aunt May.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so like he was feeling that pain. Like
Yeah,
I really like that in this movie. Spider-Man was turned into like the villain. He was
yeah,
framed as the bad guy. So
he was.
yeah, so that
Hmm.
shit was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, like the hype behind this movie, honestly, among all of the movies on this list, this movie right here had the most hype. Like
Yeah,
coming into it at least. Maybe
no
not in
doubt.
terms of like overall quality, but bro,
No
I
doubt.
remember the first time watching this movie in theaters when they introduced Toby when he walked through the portal, bro, everyone
God.
was screaming. Everyone was going crazy.
Everyone was screaming for both of them, for both
For
Andrew
Andrew,
and
cuz Andrew came in first, right?
yeah, he came first. Like, because again, Andrew is a very controversial Spider-Man. Most people love him or hate him. Like, I personally think he was decent.
I
You
think he
know,
made up for his role in this
he
movie.
definitely, no, definitely.
Because like I feel like he was heavily criticized in the Amazing Spider-Man, the first two
Yeah,
movies.
it was more the second one, I think.
Yeah, the second one as well.
Yeah,
But when it came to No Way Home, like his portrayal of Spider-Man, like talking about his experience of losing his loved ones, like Gwen, for example, I think that shit hit hard. And
yeah.
like the acting that he pulled off was great. Like he was
No,
probably the best acting Spider-Man among the three
by
in that
by
movie.
by
Yeah,
far.
because I think a lot of people gave like after this movie came out, so many people fell in love with Andrew Spider-Man,
Oh
despite a
yeah.
lot of people slandering him before. A lot of revisionist history was happening after this movie dropped.
Also remember this too. Like, do you remember like the scene where he grabs he's able to save MJ and she says thank you and he kind of like cracks up and
Oh
he's like
yeah, yeah, he's getting
yeah that
emotional because it's like
he's getting
PTSD.
emotional. Yeah, because he couldn't save hers because he couldn't save his.
I ain't
Like
gonna
like
lie, bro. Like after the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I laughed when Gwen died, bro. Like
damn
I don't know. It was just
damn.
funny to me. I don't know. Like I might be crazy, but I don't.
I it's funny. So apparently like Tom spoiled it in like an interview at one point. He
Wait, what do you
but
say?
like at one point before the movie came out, maybe like a few months, he was in an interview. He's like yeah, like there's the scene where like MJ falls. He's like and she gets saved. He's like I don't save her
That's crazy, bro.
because Tom's like very bad at like this stuff.
Yeah, he always leaks shit. He does.
He leaks stuff on accident.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really funny.
yeah. Okay, so this is the first MCU
That's
Spider-Man.
Homecoming. That was first MCU Spider-Man solo movie. I think
Uh,
that was
I didn't like this movie, bro.
really.
No, I would
I'd
give
say
this a C.
I thought it was better than Far From Home.
We can put it B if you want.
Because
I'll put it B for you.
I liked Michael Keaton's portrayal of the Vulture.
I hated Vulture, bro.
Really, you hated it?
I found him cringe. That's it.
Well,
I didn't really
well,
like him, bro.
I mean, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, well, because it's meant to. This movie was meant to be, hit like Peter's transformation, or his, because it's like the beginning stages of his Spider-Man, and he's got like the Stark like suit and everything like that,
Yeah, that's true.
and he like finds out that it's like the suit isn't everything,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and the whole thing with these movies that it's meant to show that like the suits aren't everything, then they're not meant to like reflect that.
That's facts. Cause like I mean, the one thing I would say about the first MCU Spider-Man is that they didn't repeat the storyline of Peter Parker. Like we didn't get to see Uncle Ben die for the 74th time. They just skipped over that, you know. And like Spider-Man was already established in the story, so I did like that. But overall, I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of Vulture. That was kind of my I don't know my biggest dilemma watching this movie. And speaking of Vulture, I think they're trying to put Morbius in the next Spider-Man movie or some shit like that because I don't know if you I don't know if you watched Morbius, but in the end scene or the post credit scene, they showed him and Vulture coming together to take down Spider-Man. They're like talking about it.
Yeah.
Shit was ass.
Yeah,
But
like,
honestly, Morbius might be the worst MCU movie ever.
I
One of the
gotta,
worst superhero movies to ever exist.
no, definitely.
Bro,
Although
the memes
al-
are hilarious,
the memes were pretty hilarious, and especially when Jared Leto bought into him.
bro.
Like there was like he made a video on his Twitter like around June like of last year, and it's him reading a script that's just Morbius 2. It's Morbin time.
That's funny as shit. Okay, so yeah, beats here. We can split that in the middle. The very first Spider-Man.
Solid portrayal. Solid portrayal. I'd say A tier.
I say A as well. I might even put it as. Wait, what happened in this movie? I'm forgetting. Is this Doc Ock
It was
or
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin? Oh my god.
It was like
Honestly,
I'm something of a scientist myself.
honestly, I might put this at S. This shit was fire, but I could put this like top of A.
Well, because at the time, like, everyone kind of thought that like his that Green Goblin's portrayal was kind of weird.
I thought it was perfect. I thought the way William Dafoe played Green Goblin was crazy. Like
No,
the way he was able to just kill people like that. I know if you watch the movie now, it doesn't look that good because it's been like 20 plus years since the movie came out. But I think his acting portrayal of I think his acting portrayal as Green Goblin was excellent, bro. I think the way he was able to set a tone of just killing people left, right, and center, especially when he got demoted from his own company, and then he
right,
went down that route, and then
right,
eventually after he died, he set that he basically what's it called left his legacy to Harry. I think it
right.
was really good. In even that final battle where what's it called? Green Goblin finds out that Spider-Man's Peter, right? And
Yeah,
even like the subtle hints between them, where like they were just battling prior. Like you remember the parade scene, where
right.
like
Yeah,
Green Goblin comes around and just starts killing motherfuckers, and then like right after that, Peter comes home after battling him, and then he sees Green Goblin at the dinner table. I forget it. What's his name again? Norman Osborn. He sees Norman Osborn at the dinner table, and then Norman sees like Peter's hand with like blood, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, and then he puts two and two together and realizes that he's Spider Man. Like those little subtle details are like really good, and I really enjoyed that. But we can put this at 8 here. And in my opinion, I think it's the best portrayal of like Peter Parker's origin story to becoming Spider Man.
no, yeah. I think it was perfect.
Yeah. Should we put this at S?
Um,
Or I could just leave it at A.
I still think A.
Okay, that's fair. Next, Across the Spider Verse, pretty pretty easy
I think
choice.
I feel like we all know.
It's S.
Yeah, we all know.
I think this is the best
I don't.
Spider-Man movie.
I think it's tied with Into the Spider-Verse. I can't say just yet because again, it's not finished.
I'll put it right behind it.
Yeah, but like if it were for me, like technically it's tied for me. So,
I think Across the Spider Verse is easily top 3 in the franchise.
oh no,
Out of
yeah, for
all the
sure.
Spider-Man movies, I think
Mhm.
it's if not top 3, at least top 5. The way I think they handled the multiverse aspect way better than No Way Home.
Mhm.
because it was a lot more Spider-Mans, and
Right.
the way that they were held within their own storylines, it made sense. It wasn't just thrown in together the way
Exactly.
like how No Way Home was,
Right.
because No Way Home felt a little bit forced with how
Felt
Peter was
forced, but
kind of
like, I
being
mean,
dumb.
felt forced, but like I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened a little bit too quickly, but it does make sense. But I feel like Across the Spider Verse handled it much better, and considering that Miles essentially separated himself from all the other Spider-Man on what he wanted to do and how he felt about saving his father, since that was what was fated to happen.
Mm.
It does make sense, and I think the setup for Beyond the Spider Verse can make this movie even better, depending how Beyond the Spider Verse is going to be. Anything else you want to say, or you agree with me?
I think that's it. I think
Yeah,
you've harped on it.
yeah. Amazing Spider-Man 1. Where does this
I
go?
think
I forgot what.
I think C tier.
Yeah, this shit was low key some buns.
It wasn't bad. Like this because this was this is the movie that people
Who was
because
the main
obviously
villain? Was it Lizard?
Blizzard, yeah.
Oh nah, this movie sucks.
It's not as
I'll
bad as people
it's
say.
okay. I would say it's mid. That's about it. At best,
Yeah.
mid. Some enjoyable mid. Like I don't know. I don't know. The villain aspect in the Amazing Spider-Man movies were kind of bad. I don't know. For me, like, to enjoy a good superhero movie, you need a good supervillain, or at least a dilemma that
Mhm.
makes you want to side with one character or another, right? And I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the first and second one, they did not do a good job of that.
Yeah. I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
It's fair because obviously because again his portrayal has been you know it's been mixed.
yeah, yeah.
So I can
Um,
understand if it's not your favorite.
yeah, that's fine. Anything else you want to add, or we got everything?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. I really hope we can add once Beyond the Spider Verse comes out, we can put that in S tier.
Yeah.
I really hope it
I,
succeeds,
I,
bro.
I really hope. I hope that it's the best Spider-Man movie.
It has the potential, bro. It
It has the
has it,
potential. I'm telling you, it really does.
bro. Miles and Earth 42 Miles fighting together to stop the what's it called, the
That
Sinister Six. That's just
oh
gonna be
okay.
hard.
That could just be
A theory.
like a herring. Like it might not. It's just a theory.
Yeah. I mean, Miles
So
versus Miles is gonna be a crazy battle too.
it would be crazy. Yeah.
Problem Miles versus Spider-Man Miles. Yeah, that's gonna
Right.
be hard.
Hmm.
But I think they'll eventually work together, and in fact, I think the two of them might be the ones to take down Spot, because Spot's
No.
ultimately the end game villain. Like, he's the Thanos of this verse. Even though he's not really taken that seriously, he's a fucking monster. Like,
Right.
he can just change all these realities within any universe, which is crazy to think about, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
It's gonna be really good.
yeah, can't
No
wait.
doubt. Yeah. I really
They
can't
might
wait.
they might push back the movie as well.
Oh yeah.
I hope they do, if that means making the overall movie better, if they can just fix everything. Apparently Gwen's voice actor said she hasn't recorded any lines for the upcoming movie, even though it's supposed to come out next year. So I don't know how that's gonna work. They might have to actually push it back.
They might. But if that's the case, I'm kind of fine with
I'm
it.
fine with it as well. Yeah.
Because it's like just take your time with it.
Yeah, facts. I mean, this is an animation after all. We want to see
Yeah.
a good product and not just a product right away. It's a
Hmm.
movie, so I just hope they take their time. And
Hmm.
they took, like, I think after Into the Spider Verse, they basically wait. When did Into the Spider Verse come out? 2018.
2018. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
Across the Spider-Verse was supposed to come out sooner though.
yeah, because of like COVID, right?
But COVID messed everything up.
Yeah,
So.
so they basically took 5 years to release this movie, and I'm pretty sure they already made Across the Spider Verse. They have to just add some more things. I'm pretty sure they just split the movie in half. That's why it was made into two parts, because
Mhm.
there was obviously more shit that was supposed to come, but they didn't
Yeah.
show it yet. So I'm very excited for Across the Spider Verse. But yeah,
I'm
that's our
very
tier
excited.
list. Let us know if you agree. What part of the tier list you agree with and disagree with, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today's episode. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.